Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, CDS Wealth Management. Growing generational wealth through college and retirement planning shouldn't be complicated. At CDS Wealth Management, rest assured that you're more than a client. You're a foundation for a legacy to be built upon. Allow our team to cater to your family's legacy by starting with a free consultation at www.cdswealth.com.
It's time for the League Lowdown!
Hey, welcome insiders. I'm Coach Mayhem, the owner, Suburban One Insider, and your energetic host of the League Lowdown. We can be spotted any given Friday night on the sidelines at local high school games across Bucks and Montgomery counties. I'd like to introduce my co-host and friend, the big fellow on the screen next to me, SOI OG.
Hey everybody, how are you? I may not have a chaotic nickname like my friend Mayhem, but now I'm part of the SOI crew, and I'm going by SOI OG, standing for Old Guard. Kind of ironic though, I played center and tackle most of my career in the playing days in the Suburban One League. My time started as a player in the Suburban One League. I played at Central Bucks West under head coach Mike Pettin. You can see him right there behind me. He's always in my rearview mirror. I continued to play at Millersville University, where I was part of 2 PSAC championships. And unfortunately, the Marauders haven't had 2 since I left. Nothing to do with my playing ability, but things haven't been great. After I graduated from Millersville, I started teaching in Central Bucks, and I coached at my alma mater, CB West. And then I had the opportunity to move to CB South when that building opened over 20 years ago, hard to believe, and I was the stadium announcer. So if you've ever been to Titan Field and you've heard, "Let's everybody rise for the kickoff," Mr. Bowler does a pretty good impression of me. That's something I started back in 2004. So since 2010, I've been at another school in the league as an administrator and an athletic director, part of the Suburban One League, kind of as an insider, and have worked closely with the National Conference in the SOL. So I look forward to being part of this podcast each week. I think we're going to do a great job. Our job is to celebrate kids and teams and highlight some of the best football in the state of Pennsylvania. So, hey, Mayhem, back to you. Let's get this going.
Absolutely. Seems to me like he's got the credentials. All right, so tonight we're kicking off our very first episode of the League Lowdown, where we're going to start with our preseason top 10 ranking, of course. So we have a bunch to cover. I want you guys to sit back, relax, go get a snack. You ready, OG?
I'm ready. We're going to start at the 10-yard line and work our way in for a big touchdown to kick off this season.
Absolutely. Let's kick this countdown off with a bang. All right, so we got the Plymouth White Marsh Colonials. They're going to charge in here in our top 10 at the number 10 spot. These guys are definitely ready to light up the Suburban One League American Conference, man. These guys are no stranger to dominating. Last year they finished 9-3. Perfect 5-0 conference record. And by the way, 3-peat. And unreal 15-0 conference run over the last 3 seasons, man. Head coach Dan Chang's squad smashed Souderton in the first round of the playoffs, but unfortunately lost to CB South, which ended their run. Even with the key losses of graduation, PW's got that firepower, though, so I expect this dynasty to keep alive. That starts with senior Amir Butler. Man, that kid is ready to wreck shop. Last year he had 45 tackles, 6.5 sacks, 8 tackles for loss. This kid was all over the field. Coach Chang said he's grinding for greatness. Except that edge rusher, man, to dominate. Senior Mike Bongard anchors that secondary at free safety and powers that run game, leading with all the fire and intensity that you want out of a leader. They do have a new QB, QB Cole Riley, who's stepping up, sharpening his dual threat skills to run that offense with grit. But with Butler, Bongard, and Riley leading, PW is ready to defend that crown and I think further that quest into the 6A playoffs. Let's go Colonials.
I'll just say this. I got a sneak preview back in the winter. They have some fresh new unis and some nice matte blue helmets that they're going to roll out this year. So they're going to look good. And they always play well under Coach Chang, who played at North Penn for Coach Dick Beck. So I think they do a fantastic job with their talent pool. They're great for their community. They always have a good crowd. It's going to be another good year for P-Dub.
Absolutely. All right, moving on into the number 9 spot. We got the Penridge Rams. Penridge charges in at number 9, and man, I'm telling you right now, they are ready to take on that brutal, tough Suburban One League National Conference. I talked with Coach Kyle Beller earlier this offseason, and he said it was a tale of two halves. After they started the season 4-2, pretty much that season fizzled out. They missed the playoffs, but I know Coach Beller and that veteran squad, they are hungry for redemption. Some of their strengths, their battle-tested seniors like Noah Keating, who for over 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns. He also rushed for over 400 yards. Princeton commit running back, linebacker Ryan Rowe. Monster tackler. They have tight end safety Jackson Gregoire. Chase Clontz, running back William Doherty. Those guys, they all add juice to Kyle Beller's offense and defense for that matter. The linemen, Ian Gallagher, Shane Rowland, are going to pave the way. Yeah, they are going to be filling in with some young guys, but I think they'll be pretty set. Defensively, Brody Blomgren lead the linebacker core, Tommy Giannetti and Gregoire blocking down that secondary. I could see some challenges, maybe staying healthy with that brutal Suburban One national schedule, man. I do know the opener at Bethlehem Liberty this Friday sets that tone, though. So Penridge has the personnel. Are they ready to stampede towards the playoffs? Time will tell. Let's go Rams.
So, Coach Beller, third year at the helm, right? He's ready to go. Taking the kids back up to Lehigh Valley, where he coached for a lot of years. It is a tough task to go up there to BASD Stadium. He's been working hard. He's building a great staff. Little insider information is he brought Coach Jeff Hollenbach, former head coach, back onto the staff due to one of the coaches having to step down. Jeff's going to be the offense coordinator this year. And did a fantastic job with 2 different stints as the head coach of the Rams. They've got some really good senior talent. The classes below are really going to have to fill in some needs, especially with only a couple of upperclassmen starters on the offensive line. They have that Will Doherty. Holy cow. Kid is throwback from the stance that he's in at fullback and run through the holes. I think he's going to do a good job. And the national conference is nothing to blink about. So you're going to have to play hard for 10 straight weeks. We'll see how the Rams do.
Absolutely, for sure. All right, moving along. We reached our number 8 spot. We're going to shake some things up here. I'm going with the Neshaminy Redskins. This squad could be the dark horse in my eyes in 2025. 6-5 record, 3-4 in that national conference again. They did make the playoffs. They lost to O.J. Roberts 38-24. New head coach Nick Fellis. He's known as a QB guru, and he's ready to unleash this talented roster. They have senior Michael Eckert. Kid threw for over 1,200 yards and rushed for over 300 more. He could explode under Fellis. Wide receiver Mike Sassano. Kid is set to break out. He's going to be a go-to target for Eckert. Up front, they got first-team All-National Conference defensive lineman Milo Makes. This kid, he brings that violent play. Man, they have the number 1 returning tight end in Lucas Stewart, and kid's gonna keep defenses guessing. On the defensive side of the ball, all I gotta say is the Sassano twins. Nick led the league in interceptions with 4 other players. He had 49 total tackles. His brother Mike had 39 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss. I mean, these guys are defensive dynamos. The only thing I see is adjusting to Fellis' system is the challenge, but, I mean, this squad's ready to surprise and make a deep playoff run. Let's go Redskins.
Yeah, I don't know Coach, the new coach at all. I look forward to seeing him throughout this season. But his resume speaks for itself, right? His time at Coatesville and time out in Western PA. He's inheriting a solid returning lineup, as you just spoke about. And the Skins are never really far from the top of that league, going back in history. In this league, so I think the Skins could give a run to the top teams. We're going to talk about some of them upcoming, but National Conference is once again loaded, and we're going to see how it goes.
Yep. Well, I'm going to keep on that national choo-choo train here, coming in at number 7, Patriot Nation. Stand on up. Yep, that's right, CB East. I'm bringing them in at 7. I really do think the Suburban One National is the conference to be in. I mean, Coach John Donnelly's young squad is buzzing with chemistry after a battle-tested 2024. Man, and then it all starts up with that young man, junior running back Mike Price, as a sophomore. I repeat. First-team All-League star, torch defenses for 1,259 yards and 14 touchdowns. By the way, I was in attendance for the 14th touchdown, which was a passing touchdown for 65 yards. I kid you not, the kid is a playmaker. Coach says, man, Price's size, his vision, speed, I definitely could see this kid pushing for over 2,000 yards. They have a veteran O-line, Timmy Furmeister, Magnus Figueroa, Mike Battinelli, Gavin Malavy, Dan Kirk. Man, these kids are huge. Furmeister, 6'5", 265 pounds of solid muscle. I'm telling you, I've watched these kids grow, and running backs Chase Ingram, Asher Green, plus wide receivers Cole Wozniacki, Ruben Bell, Alex White. Their offense is going to be different this season, I'm telling you right now. Defensively, the entire D-line and secondary return. They're ready to hit hard, shut down on third downs. Yeah, they got to replace the top tacklers on their defense. But I know they have a lot of playmakers that are ready to step up. And I'm telling you, man, Price leading that rushing attack and that stingy defense, they are definitely going to make the playoffs this year. Remember that. Let's go Patriots.
Wow. Well, Coach Donnelly always has two things, right? He's always got a running back that drives other coaches nuts, and he's got men on the offensive line. Like CB East, going back 30 years, maybe even 40 years, has an unbelievable size line year in and year out. And it starts with them, with Coach Mooseberger, who's one of my all-time favorite people. Moose does a great job in the weight room with those guys. They are super strong. They put up a fight, and Coach Donnelly does a great job. Being a West guy, it's hard for me to speak positively about that team in Buckingham, right? But I'm going to say I've been impressed with them the last several years. So we'll see how they do.
Absolutely, I agree 100% with you. I really do think this is gonna be the team to beat. All right, so moving on, number 6. I might surprise some more people again here. I'm going the Pennsbury Falcons. All right, I'm telling you, man, don't let that 5-6 record fool you from a season ago. They still made the 6A playoffs, and they are fueled by that 17-0 loss to CB West. Coach Galen Snyder's veteran squad is loaded for sure. They have a senior running back in Jordan Bressinger. Kid rushed for 1,154 yards. 7.
He's special.
He is. He really is special. He's got breakaway speed and physicality. He only weighs 170 pounds, but I'm telling you, he plays above his weight. Luke Begley on the defensive side of the ball, 78 tackles. Oh, man. O-line, Connor O'Brien, big, huge body. Henry Garlitz, tight end Dante Sciola. All these kids were either on first team, honorable mention, second team. I mean, these kids have a lot of experience, and I think they got a chip on their shoulder with that record. The Falcons are definitely set to make the playoffs this year, so I'm going fly high, Pennsbury.
All right, so for years, the Galen Snyder years, right, at Pennsbury have been really, really successful. Every time I watch them play, I feel like I'm watching Remember the Titans. Just give that offense some time. It's like Novocaine. It's going to work, right? And they run about 10 different plays. That's it. Maybe 3 formations. So when you're doing your homework, getting ready for that game, you're thinking, all right, we just have to stop this. And most teams can't because they're bigger, they're faster, and they're stronger than everybody else. Their defense does the same thing. 11 guys to the ball in a bad mood, and they get there and they make things happen. So Pennsbury's one of those teams like Neshaminy, right? Whoever wins that end of the season game is going to be in the playoff run. They're going to get a good seed. They might get a home game. Let's just see how they compare to the other teams in the national. No slight to the other conferences though, because I think the next one isn't a national conference team, if I'm right.
No, we are not. We're heading into the Continental Conference. All right. Number 5, Quakertown Panthers. All right. The Panthers are on the prowl into our number 5 spot. I'm definitely going. They did go 7-5 last year overall, but they went 6-1 in the conference. They are a shared conference title between Upper Dublin and Sotherton. Man. They had a thrilling 309 bowl over Sotherton. They won. Unfortunately, they beat Penridge for the 4th straight Thanksgiving in a row. These guys have a stacked roster. Brady Martin, quarterback. Jackson Connolly, running back. Both of those two-way starters are studs on the offense and the defense. Not only do you got to worry about Brady Martin throwing on you, you got to make sure he's not going to pick you off and take one back, because let me tell you, this kid is not afraid to hit, and he truly shows grit out there on the football field. They do a lot over there. They have a lot of traditions over at Quakertown. I know they do that to Childhood Cancer Awareness Night at the Alumni Stadium Walk. Man, I know these guys are fired up this year. The 96th and Quakertown Penridge game this year for Thanksgiving. Man, that's going to be a must-watch game, regardless of records. Those 2 teams on Thanksgiving morning, what a way to start a Thanksgiving, man. I'm telling you, fire me up. I talked to George Banis earlier this summer, and I asked him to make a bold prediction. He said Jackson Connolly leads the team in sacks. For sure. And I'm going to agree with you, because he definitely is a stud, and he hits very hard. I think Quakertown will return to the playoffs and do really well this year. So let's go Panthers.
All right, so Coach Banis is just a wizard, right? You look at his teams. He doesn't have the CB East offensive line. He doesn't have the North Penn quarterback or the CB West running back, but he makes it work. Those kids are all in every single day. They work their rear ends off in the off season. They're in the weight room, and they trust him, right? High school football comes down to coaching and trust, and they trust him, and he does a fantastic job. And I'm not in every community, right? But I know, because I live in Upper Bucks County, I know the community is 100% behind the Panthers in everything they do. Just not on Thanksgiving. They're at every game. They come out every game and they support that team. And it's awesome. It totally is awesome.
It really is. All right, so moving along. Now we're getting to the big boys, in my opinion. We're now moving along into our the top 5. Now we're going to 4. Here come the Indians. All right, I'm saying Sotherton's definitely coming in, and they're ready to torch some people. Last year, they went 7-4. I told you, they went 6-1 in the conference. They shared the title in the Continental, but man, they fell short to PW 33-14. They definitely have a chip on the shoulder. They are returning one of the most savvy quarterbacks, veteran quarterbacks, I would say, that we have. Along with Penridge's Noah Keating, you have Ben Walsh. He's been a starter since he's a freshman. He lit up defenses last year for over 1,800 yards. He had 20 passing touchdowns, and he also added 5 more on the ground. I'm telling you, man, they have a stacked crew this year. Walsh could lead the league in passing. He's got some major targets to look to. They did lose some kids to graduation, but I'm telling you right now, Ed Gallagher and company have a lot of weapons at their disposal this year. They also have a transfer running back coming in. That's going to make some noise and expand what that offense looks like. So I'm telling you, man, they're gonna be a problem. I don't see a 7-4 record this year.
Well, Ed Gallagher is one of the premier coaches in this league. There's hands down. Been in the head coach over there for 20 plus years now. He runs a wing T, and then you're telling me his quarterback's throwing for 1,800 yards a year. What? That's crazy, right? That evolution, the evolution of the wing T has been phenomenal for a lot of teams in this area. You know, Pennsbury runs pretty much a wing T. They only run the ball 98% of the time. West is a wing T based team. They throw the ball 30% of the time. But Coach Gallagher went from 98% run to now expanded that offense, and they are really, really talented. You know, it kind of reminds me. I'm not 100 years old. I'm an OG, but I'm not 100. But going back to the 70s and 80s with Drew Dara coaching at Souderton, they are a highly successful program. And when you talk about a coach that can be said in the same conversation as a Drew Dara, you know, he's doing a great job. So I love watching Souderton play, and it's going to be fun to see how they progress throughout this year.
Definitely think they're gunning for a deep playoff run. So let's go Indians. All right. So moving along, man, those top 3 teams. I'll tell you what, there shouldn't be a surprise here, but I'm going Central Bucks West, and they're galloping into this spot. They are ready to take over and continue the dominance. Yeah, they got to replace one of the most dominant players in recent memory, and Ryan Clemens. The Swiss Army knife did everything. He rushed for over 1,500 yards. He had 300 receiving yards. He kicked all the extra points. He kicked, he punted. I mean, and not only did he do all that, he was first team everywhere. This kid is a monster. Their former quarterback, Noah Miller, last year rushed for over 1,000 yards and 11 touchdowns. I mean, that's a lot of production you got to replace. It's going to be tough, but Coach Rob Rowan, man, he's got a loaded roster. I'm going to say one name first, and remember it. Jeff Kappa. Woo! 6'1", 235-pound D tackle. Coach Rowan says he's pound for pound the strongest man on the team. They got some hitters. They got guys like Gavin Todd, who's a linebacker who was up there leading the tackling group. Matt Berman, Zach Zabo, Gio Pellegrino, Beck Polius, Louis Cipolla, Nick Mileto. Man, Nick Mileto last year, sophomore season, man, he's going to have a huge year. They are definitely hungry for another playoff push, and I can see it happening. As well as I do, West's tradition of winning seasons, and they definitely have the grit to dominate. They have a new QB and a running back, but I don't think that's going to slow them down. That blue-collar work ethic is really going to hit home, and I definitely think they're going to roll. And I think they got a chance to be up there up here, at the end of the year for sure.
Yeah, when you got Rob Rowan as your head coach, you're going places, right? Like, I lived during the Pettin era and grew up watching, playing for him, coaching with him. I know Rob pretty well. There's a lot of qualities from that old school West regime that you see day in and day out over at West. He may not have the biggest kids. He might not have the fastest kids when you take out McFadden from a couple years ago, right? But he's got tough kids. who, they are, on their helmet it says all in, right? I mean, they clock in every day and they do that blue collar kind of work. And it's tough in this day and age to have kids that are in like that, but they do a fantastic job of coaching staff down there. Joe Holman's their weight coach again, going back to the late 90s. He was the weight coach. They're going to be a good standing there. There's no doubt about it.
And I'm telling you right now, in that secondary, don't be trying to throw on them kids. I'm telling you, they're stacked back there too. So it's going to be interesting. You're going to have their opposing offenses are going to have, Kappa rushing in on them hardcore, and it's going to be rough. I tell you that much.
All right, who's two?
Two, holding it down, Titan fans. That's right. Central Bucks South. We're going to thunder those guys up in. I'm telling you, man. They went 12-1 last year, undefeated regular season, semifinal loss to North Penn, 21-19. Woo! Coach Tom Hetrick's squad is still loaded. Junior running back Braylon Cape wasn't the main man, but he was heavily used. He rushed for over 726 yards. He had 11 touchdowns. Gavin Graham hopped in there. He had 183 yards, 5 touchdowns. I'm telling you, those two, it's going to be a lethal backfield this year. The O-line is young but talented, and I'm going to tell you.
And huge.
I'm going to tell you another name. Shea Fullerton, 6'8", 285 pounds. I kid you not when I say 6'8" and all of 285 pounds. He is definitely going to be a problem on that line for sure. And defensively, they have a linebacker coming back who led the team in tackles a year ago on a talented roster, and Jack Bartolillo. Man, he anchors a fierce defense. And when I talked about sideline to sideline, he's everywhere. He is everywhere. But don't worry, a new QB is not going to stop this team. I think they're still going to be successful. I see CB South chasing the crown again at the end of the season. So let's go Titans.
Well, I've known Tom Hetrick since I've started being a teacher. And we actually coached baseball together at Holcomb Middle School. And I loved him as a leader when we were younger guys, right? See him progress through the ranks, get over to CB South. I'm one of his biggest fans. I think he does a great job with his kids. He's got a phenomenal coaching staff. He really has put a lot of stock in that coaching staff over the years. I was at that game against North Penn last year. Turnovers killed him. I think they had 4 turnovers in the second half, and that's what hurt them. But they were in the game till the very, very end. So I know he's going to have his kids ready. They play Archbishop Wood this week, so we'll see how that game goes. But I think that the Titans, after what they came off of doing last year, I think they deserve to be the number 2 ranked team on Suburban One Insiders, no doubt.
I agree with you 100%. That's why they're there. So rolling right along. Boom! We got the top spot. And no shock here, folks. It's North Penn. Number 1 team. A year ago, they finished 11-3. Ironically, there are only 2 losses heading into the playoffs. Central Bucks West, right above them, and Central Bucks South. They got payback in the playoffs. And man, are they loaded. QB Matt Buxar, kid can throw. Threw for 1,650 yards, 17 touchdowns. He's definitely going to bring this team back on his shoulders because he's out to prove himself. They have guys like running back wide receiver combo. Yes, you don't know if he's going to line up in the wide receiver position or the running back position. Matthew Pownell, this kid is a beast. He's committed to the Naval Academy. He caught for over 559 yards last year, 5 touchdowns. He was just all over the field. He was Suburban One All-League on offense and on defense. They also have Mason Franick, who had 338 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns to go along. Buxar's got his main targets back again. They also have a young guy who I watched in their scrimmage, Riley Gray. Oh, man, did he have a dominant freshman year last season. I think a lot of people are going to know who Riley Gray is after this season. He started the last 8 games for North Penn while they were on that district title run, and Coach Beck couldn't take him off the field. He was that explosive. I saw him on the offensive side of the ball, on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, the defense is stacked with experience. They are going to lock down opponents. They got the swagger. They got the talent. North Penn is definitely the team to beat. I am confident in this when I say this. These guys, this is definitely the team to beat. I don't see anyone stopping them right now. They have so much coming back. And they even have some talent that people probably haven't even seen yet. So we will definitely see what happens there, but I expect big things out of the Knights this season.
Yeah, as I previously said, it comes down to coaching, right? High school coaching, and you look at some of the coaches we talked about, but Dick Beck is the coaching OG for the Suburban One, right? Yeah, something like that. And he's got pretty good lineage and coached with Mike Pettin and Mike Pettin Jr. over the years. Like he knows what he's doing. He gets a lot out of the kids. I think that over the years, for the last 20 years, they've always been the team to beat, right? And they have some times where they aren't as good as they think they should be, but it happens, right? Not everybody can reload every year. North Penn, with the size of that school, being the biggest school in District 1,
the 2,200.
So they graduate over 1,000 kids a year, so it's nuts. But they have great players, great coaching staff. Kevin Zeblin's a great coach, who's also the flag coach for the girls that went undefeated in the spring. But really, really good, high quality coaches. And Coach Beck gets the most out of his players. There's no doubt about it. So they're going to be number one, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're sitting here the week of Halloween recapping the whole season and getting ready for the playoffs, and we're still saying North Penn's the number one team. I can see the other 9 going some different places, right? The other 9 in the top 10, and the other 14 teams we're not even talking about today. But I think there's some opportunity there for some teams to really, really give it their all against North Penn. When I was in high school and playing at West, Coach Pettin always used to say, every team that comes to play us, it's their Rose Bowl, it's their Super Bowl, and that's where North Penn is. They're up there at the top, and everybody's going to play their A game against them. So it's going to be fun to watch, see how they react to getting everybody's best. And it's a long season.
I think this team has a target on their back. They are definitely. Get everybody's best week in and week out for the next 10 weeks.
Yeah. All right, Mayhem, I'm going to call timeout here. Let's hear a little something from our sponsors, and we'll be right back with you for the rest of the show.
Every Suburban One insider knows that it's never too soon to build your legacy. Get started today at www.cdswealth.com.
All right, welcome back. We're now going to take a look at where all our teams are heading in the league this week in our weekly schedule recap. Our first game, Abington will host Conrad Weiser, and we'll have our very own insiders covering that matchup. So please stand by for some updates on socials and a recap on our website. Ben Salem next defends the nest against Upper Darby. CB East will host Ridley, which should be an exciting match.
Archbishop was last year.
Archbishop Wood's going to travel to CB South, where our very own insider Tom Adams will have coverage in a gallery after the game, so stay tuned for that. I think my second favorite matchup of this week, we're going to have to go with our number 3 ranked team, CB West, traveling to Lehigh Valley's top team in Easton. That's going to be definitely a big one there.
It's tough to play at Cottingham Stadium, I'll tell you that much.
Absolutely. Next, we have Cheltenham. They get their Terrence Tolbert era started off at home against a very tough Wilson West Lawn team who went 11-2 last year. So that's going to be an exciting moment for Coach Tolbert and his Panthers. In our next matchup, that's going to be my game of the week, where Council Rock North travels to Upper Moreland, which is going to be a cross-conference battle. Last year, this game was a 7-point contest at the half before just walked away with it 35-7. I spoke with head coach Brandon Garrett of Council Rock North, and he told me, OG, that this year's team, way more experienced. They return a bunch of starters. Some of those young guys got a lot of varsity maturing last season, and I expect a different game this time around. I will see those of you in Willow Grove Friday night under the lights. I will also have DAHC Images, and myself bringing you all the live action before, during, and after the game. So stay tuned for that. Our next matchup, we got Council Rock South, Golden Hawks defending the nest against District 12's Frankfurt, who I'm going to tell you, OG, I watched this year at the Panther Palooza 7-on-7 tournament. I can't wait to see these boys play and get after it. Winding down in the schedule, we got Truman is at home against Haverford. Hatboro Horsham travels to Marple Newtown. Neshaminy also traveling this week up there to Emmaus. North Penn is traveling down to Downingtown East. That's going to be an exciting game. Downingtown didn't have the record last season, but I'll tell you what, they have a really great program usually, so that's going to be a good one for North Penn. It's definitely one way to start the title run defense.
Yeah, another tough place to play too, especially opening night when you're not sure if it's going to be super hot or what. But beautiful stadium, great place to play, and seen a few games there over the years.
Definitely, it's hopefully it's not going to be too hot out there. But
never know.
Hey, Penridge next up. Penridge is traveling to Bethlehem Liberty, as we talked about. Pennsbury is home against the Concrete Kids of Northampton. We got PW heading up to Westchester Henderson. Then another exciting matchup. We got Quakertown traveling to Southern Lehigh. Man, that's going to be a fun one. That Southern Lehigh team has got some big boys on their line. Solderton is away at Springford. Springfield is home against the ANC. Another exciting matchup we got in 5A. We got Upper Dublin has a home clash against down rival Wissahickon, where we'll also have another insider on hand to bring you updates before, during, and after. So please stay tuned for that. And that's it for where everybody in the Suburban One League's headed this week. We'll catch up with you guys in one quick second as we.
Timeout number 2.
All right, he got me. Commercial break. We'll see you after the break.
Every Suburban One insider knows that it's never too soon to build your legacy. Get started today at www.cdswealth.com.
All right, folks, welcome back. And we're going to reach we've reached the next segment in our podcast called My Favorite, which is OG's History Lesson. OG, what you got for us?
All right, so one of the reasons that I was excited to join this podcast is kind of be, the OG, to talk about the history of our league, and it's been around for over 100 years. Started in 1922. It started out with teams in Montgomery and Delaware counties, and only one of the OG originals is still in the league. And they went by a different nickname back then, Mayhem. They were the Abington Maroons. And now we now know them as the Galloping Ghosts after Red Grange came to the school and did a presentation for the student body. They were so enamored by the Galloping Ghost, Red Grange, that they switched over to be the Galloping Ghosts. But anyways, over this 100 plus years, the league has changed, right? So there's more schools at some points, and it kind of dwindled. And then in probably the 80s, early 80s, late 70s, they had a influx of teams join. There was a lower Bucks League within the Chamonix and the Pennsburys. They joined the Suburban One. And then in the mid 80s, you had the Bucksmont League, which was a premier league with the Hatbros, the West, CB West, CB East, Souderton, North Penn, Quakertown, Upper Perk, Perk Valley, and a few others. They were in the Bucksmont League, and they all merged in the mid 80s to make this fantastic league. Now, we've lost some teams over the years. In the last 10, 15 years, we lost Methacton, we lost Norristown. They went over to the Pioneer Conference. But this league is 24 teams strong right now. And the true history is that when you look around the state of Pennsylvania, you've got the Whitfield out in Western PA, which is a huge conference, which is more of like a district conference, right? But in our District 1, where we are, you've got the Chestnut, you've got the Central League, you got the Pioneer, and you've got the Suburban 1. Yeah, yeah, somewhere around there. But the Suburban One has been a premier team over the years. So one of the things I'm going to do each week is do a little history lesson. We're going to talk about teams. We're going to talk about schools. We're going to talk about rivalries. That's my favorite part about college football, right? Or high school football and college football for that matter. But you're also going to start to see some trivia popping up on the Suburban One Insider OG Instagram, and I'll tag it to Suburban One Insider Mayhem as well. And you're going to get some shout outs if we get some correct answers on those questions. So I'm going to kind of build my trivia and then tie it into our history lesson each week. All right. So from an educator to all of you students, parents, etc., you might need to brush up on some of your SOL history over the next 10, 11, 12 weeks.
Yes, they do.
All right. I think we're going to take our final timeout, right? And then what we're going to do is get into basically the 2-minute drill with some big picks for the week.
Every Suburban One insider knows that it's never too soon to build your legacy. Get started today at www.cdswealth.com.
Welcome back to our last segment of the evening. This is going to be our prediction highlights, and we're definitely going to go with our top 5 picks. The rest you'll be able to find on our website at suburban1insider.com. All right. So the first game that I'm going to predict is Quakertown at Southern Lehigh. I think I'm going Quakertown in a tightly contested one.
I'm going to say flag on the play. I think Coach Bannis is going to have him ready. But I think it's going to be highly contested. But I think that Coach Sams and his son, who's the quarterback, are going to do a great job. And like you said, they got a big O lineman or a couple big O linemen. But I think they're going to come out and cause some trouble for Quakertown. So I'm going to go Southern Lehigh real close.
All right. Our next matchup that we're going to take a shot at, Souderton and Springford. All right. Springford doesn't have Matt Zollers anymore. However, it would not surprise me that they are reloaded. I'm going Souderton over Springford.
I'm going to agree with you 100% on that. When you lose a 4-star, 5-star quarterback, I know he was injured most of the season last year, but you lose that. You have a brand new head coach, Chad Brubaker from Springford, resigned at the end of the season. I think Souderton's going to go up there. It's a road game, right? So that's never easy for high school kids. But I think Souderton's going to go up there and I don't want to say put a hurting on Springford, but I think they're going to do a pretty good job against them.
Take care of business. All right. Well, our next matchup, going down to the smaller schools. I'm going to say ANC at Springfield. I'm definitely picking the Spartans to take care of business. Coach Shelley has breaking in a new quarterback, transfer quarterback. But I think they're going to be very successful. They have some very good key pieces to that offense and defense coming back. Aaron Kaufman, he's a sideline to sideline tackler, a beast. He's led his team in tackling the last 2 seasons. So I would definitely expect the Spartans to take care of business.
Yeah, I don't honestly, I'm gonna be really honest. I don't know much about Academy New Church, but I have watched Springfield come back from almost not having football about 5 or 6 years ago. And
Dominating a 5A school like Upper Moreland last year.
yeah, I think that coach is doing a great job there. 309 heading down there is it's a nice little stadium. Passed it numerous times. I think Springfield's got the edge here over ANC.
Definitely. All right, and our last 2 picks for the week. Going with the Wissahickon Upper Dublin game. Those two are rivals. You want to talk about rivals. Those two right down the road from each other. Those kids are within minutes of each other. Um, I'm going. I don't think Upper Dublin has it this year. They got some really good players, but I think Wissahickon is going to be a problem. I'm going Wissahickon over the Cardinals.
I'm gonna throw a flag on this one too. I think Wissahickons gonna be a pretty good team this year, but I'm not gonna root against two of my fellow Marauders from Millersville, with Coach Stover being the head coach, who was a great quarterback at Millersville, and then Tim Sorber, who was a longtime head coach at Abington. Those guys know football. They truly do, and they're getting their kids ready. There's no doubt about that. So I'm going to say the Flying Cardinals are going to squeak one out.
All right, all right. I guess we'll see after Friday night. All right, and our very last pick for the evening is going to be the Archbishop Carroll William Tennant game. I like this. Head coach Colin Leach took over at Tennant. He's trying to build up a program. I really do think this is their year. They got some really good players and Trey Knoll, Derek Gunther. I mean, they have some pieces that are going. Gavin Mensch, their quarterback, he's returning. Not a very pass heavy team, but I will say they are going to be a problem. And I'm gonna say that the Panthers start the season off right and take down Archbishop Carroll in a close one.
I'm going to agree 100% on that one. And, Coach Detweiler, who used to be the DC at CB South, left Carroll at the end of last season. So they have a new coaching staff. I know they get to use that R word a little bit more than the public schools down at Carroll. They can pull some kids in from neighboring areas, if you know what I mean. But I am a big fan of Colin Leach. Had the opportunity to meet him several times a couple of years ago, and he's one of the smartest young football minds I've ever talked to. Played at Del Val or went to Del Val. I know he has an uphill battle. That's not a pun intended, from that huge hill behind from the stadium to the school.
To sled down as a child.
It's probably a really good sledding hill. I think he's got an uphill battle. He's in that landlocked school where there's not much growth to it. But I think that he's going to get the Panthers going in the right direction. He's one of my, I want to keep an eye on this guy, because I think that, not that I want to see him leave Tennant and move to a bigger school, but I think that he's going to have some opportunities here in the future, because he's a very, very knowledgeable coach.
Absolutely. I see nothing but good things for the Panther future with Colin at the helm. He is definitely getting that program headed in the right direction. I will say they won this year their Panther Palooza 7v7 passing tournament. Now, some will argue that it's just 7v7 and it's not the entire unit, which absolutely I agree. But I'm telling you, they did some great things on offense and defense. I think they're going to take care of business. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us this evening. And we look forward to hearing from you, catching up, sharing stories of what happens this upcoming week. Good luck to all our teams out there, and we look forward to reporting on the first week of high school football in 2025.
Thank you for having me. And I guess I'll just say it this way: insiders are out.